Okay. Welcome everyone to our March meeting. Announcements. We have our basic SQL for Koha users on March 24th, which is going to be 2 weeks from yesterday. And the time for that, I just had it open, but I believe, yeah, same time as this meeting on Tuesday instead of Wednesday, but 8:30 Pacific, 9:30 Mountain, 10:30 Central, 11:30 Eastern. And there is I believe, a link to register. Is there?
No,
We
we're
do
just
that this
doing it
time?
in this room. So
Oh, we're just doing it in this room. Okay.
yeah, so people just click the link at the time and we'll go from there.
Yeah, and we'll be recording that and posting it to our YouTube page like we did with the previous learning session. So excited about that. Let's see. George is looking forward to learning SQL. Conference update and what's next. So the conference is going to be in McKinney, Texas this year in September. And we'll open up proposals in May for presentations and hope to have a rough draft scheduled by the time registration opens. Okay. Kohathon update. So that's going to be next month, April 23rd. All day. We're starting at 8 a.m. Eastern time and ending at 8 p.m. Pacific time. So we'll be going for about 15 hours. So we should have the tentative schedule up. We're meeting after this meeting, and we'll hopefully have the tentative schedule up by the end of this week for that. And let's see. Koha-Con and Shell, says Heather in the chat. Yes, and it's all going to be online and free, and we're going to be recording all of it, so sessions will be available later as well. Or if you can't attend one because you have to work the desk or because it's 15 hours and you can't attend all of them, even if you're interested. Well, I mean, you might be able to, but whether you are able to attend all of them. Okay, special interest groups. So a number of our special interest groups have been meeting. We've got a whole bunch on our website at koha-US.org on the Collaborate with Us page. We have acquisitions. Rhonda's our leader for that one. Cataloging. Okay, acquisitions meets the third Tuesday of the month at 11 Central Time. Cataloging, Heather's the leader on that one, and that meets the first Thursday of the month at 10 Central Time. The consortia group hasn't met yet, but Bob Benahoff has agreed to lead that one for us. We also have a demonstration special interest group that John's leading for our demo instance, and that one also doesn't have a scheduled meeting time yet. Sysadmin met yesterday. They meet the second Tuesday of the month at 11 Central Time. It looks like there's been lots of good stuff, good discussions coming out of that one. I haven't made it to a meeting yet, and the acquisitions and cataloging ones, all of them I see lots of good discussions coming out. User services, we have a doodle poll in the agenda for the first meeting because they want to try and get it worked out so everyone who's interested can attend. And I just put that in the chat. It looks like they're trying to get either end of this week or sometime next week for their first meeting so we can get that rolling. We also have a web development user group that hasn't met yet, but you can join all of these, the Google groups from the website, or if you have trouble joining for some reason, I know some like city networks block the Google groups, but you can email info@koha-us.org, let us know which groups you're interested in and we can add you.
And can I just jump in a second? We did want to highlight just a few of those that haven't started yet. The demonstration group is going to be putting together, we've got a demonstration instance Bywater provided us, which is awesome. We need to put it together. We need like patrons in there. We need catalog data, all that kind of stuff. John is heading that up. So if you want to help get that together, we want to try and have that up and running so we can use it at ALA to kind of show off Koha at our own table there. So please join that one. And the web dev group, we wanted to just try and push people into that one. It's focusing on kind of the look and feel of Koha and getting your guys' input on how you want Koha to work, how it could work better. And I think there's a lot of people in this group that could really help out with that. So please join that group as well.
Yes. Okay. ALA table and call for volunteers. So we have a small press table at ALA this year, and if anyone wants to volunteer to help staff the table, please let us know. Give us an email at info@koha-us.org so we can make sure that John has you on the list and can coordinate that so that we can have the table staffed at all times. Okay. I think we're down to conference reports or committee reports. For the conference committee, I already covered all 3 conferences that we're doing work on right now. Does anyone have any questions for the conference committee right now?
Lizette, have you gotten feedback for the Kohathon people that are participating?
Mm-hmm.
They've all responded. Good.
Almost everyone has responded, and I sent some follow-ups to the last, like 4 earlier this week. So, yes, hopefully we should hear back from the rest of them. If I haven't heard back today, I'm gonna bug them again tomorrow. The development committee, Rhonda.
We have for sure 2 developments to choose from, possibly a 3rd one. We're going to meet Friday and discuss, the logistics of how we want to vote for this. We've got one that Lizette submitted, and then one that the acquisitions special interest group submitted. So basically, you should hear from us in, I don't know, the next week or so, with the vote to decide which of the developments we want to move forward with for this group. That's pretty much it. If you have any questions. Okay. That's all I have.
Okay, thanks, Rhonda. Jessie.
Well, we hit a lot of the stuff that was on the education committee already. We had the SIGs, so they're in full force. That was one of our big pushes for the education committee this year. The Kohathon, as Lizette mentioned also, we'll be meeting after this to get the agenda up and out. And the SQL basics, which Jason and Christopher will be instructing. We also have a few more ideas that we came up with. jQuery hacks, which we plan to do sometime in May of 2020. And then Fred has graciously said that he would do sometime in 2020, fingers crossed, installing Koha without a large team. And then some of our other ideas are Koha documentation and maybe a more advanced sandbox session. So we're really hoping to get those webinars kind of on like maybe a bi-monthly or every other month schedule. And then another idea that we're talking about and still fleshing out is creating weekly videos where libraries can share ideas about like SQL reports, jQuery hacks, OPACs, and Christopher Brannon and George Williams are leading the initiative on that. So we have some good things in the queue. Our next meeting will be March 18th.
Thanks, Jesse. Any questions for the Education Committee? Okay, Todd, fundraising.
Yeah, well, nothing currently, but looking forward to Koha-thon and seeing what we can generate from that. Last meeting went well. We haven't had a meeting Christmas or January, so February was good. We had a couple people attend, and we've got some interesting ideas. That's about it.
Next one's the Finance Committee. I believe John was not gonna be able to make it today. So we have the monthly report linked in the chat there, or in the agenda. I can put it in the chat as well. Oh, apparently twice. So opening balance is there for January, and closing balance for January, just a little less than the opening balance because we did like the Zoom purchase and renewed our Google domain, or renewed our koha-US.org domain through Google.
Wow, I heard just the right time.
Oh, you did. I wasn't sure if you'd make it, so
I wasn't sure I was going to make it either. I was able to reschedule a bunch of things and just actually got off of a vendor call. So Lizette probably highlighted membership. Membership significantly increased, perhaps in response to the ability to vote for the conference location. It essentially doubled over the month of February, and that kind of kept me rather busy to the point where I might explore looking at other ways to help keep track of things, because right now it's a particularly manual process. Lizette mentioned some of the expenses we've had. We're now spending 2020 money on 2020 things. We're now purchasing our own Zoom room, which we, of course, have been reaping the benefits of, not only for our board and general meetings, but also for the special interest groups. They've taken very good advantage of it. And we did renew our Google domains for 5 years at what we expect will be the old price of $60. That will actually take us through 2025, June, by recollection. And we had a lot of income in February because of the memberships, but we also received our quarterly Amazon Smile donation. Our Amazon Smile donation dropped significantly. It was less than half of what we would have normally expected, and actually about less than half of what we had budgeted to expect based on our prior history with that. Keep in mind that with Amazon Smile income, we don't know two things. Number one, we don't know how many people or organizations have selected koha-US as their Amazon Smile partner. And number two, we don't know how much is in the kitty, if you will, at any given point in time until we actually receive the disbursement. About the only glimpse of activity that we have access to, even with a full administrative set of permissions to view the Amazon Smile interface, is a number of orders purchased. And that's not number of items purchased in these orders, but just the fact that on any given day, maybe 2 people or organizations made purchases that listed us as a beneficiary. We didn't have very many expenses. The $170 you see expended in February was actually a singular expense for the budgeted philanthropy.org access, which was requested by the fundraising committee. And that includes Grant Station access, which had previously been donated to koha-US through the generosity of Todd Goatley. 2 years of philanthropy.org access was $170, and it was cost advantageous for us to pursue 2 years at that time. Let's see. I'm looking for people interested in auditing the 2019 finances. We didn't have an audit for the 2018 finances because nobody volunteered. It would be nice to have this done. This is not a requirement at either the federal or state level. If it were, we'd have to pay for it, and it would be very, very, very expensive, not even remotely worth the cost to do so. So if there's anybody that is not on the board and is not a member of the Finance Committee, so that essentially rules out Eli Anthony and Candace Hope, that would like to review the organization's finances and make a report, an independent report to the board about them, that is more than welcome. Please contact me at treasurer@koha-US.org if you're interested in serving in that capacity. I would like more than one, but considering last year I got none, I'll take one if I can get it. And then, of course, the Finance Committee is always looking for one more person to round out its ranks. My continued thanks to Candace for her support since I became treasurer in late 2017, and for Eli, who joined us about 1 year after that. One more member, especially as we draft the bylaws changes for the financial manager position, is always welcomed. And again, any interest in that position should be directed to me at treasurer@koha-US.org. That's pretty much it for the Financial Committee report.
Okay, thanks very much, John. Any questions for John or any of the committees? And I saw in the chat, Christopher Davis asked about, since he was late, when the conference is going to be held. And just, I noticed a number of other people also joined like after while we were talking about that. So that's going to be in McKinney, Texas, September 22nd to 25th. Okay. Ongoing, ongoing discussion. Bugs, issues, etc. Does anyone have any bugs that they would like to talk about?
Wow.
Yeah. Okay.
Good, everything's perfect then.
Not really a bug. In fact, it's not a bug at all. But one of the things I'm hoping to be able to do, since I'm spending so much time at that god-awful reference desk, is I'm going to, on my development server, install 1911. And based on the inspiration I received from Micah's presentation last year in Pueblo, we'll see if I can get Elasticsearch running on my own as an unsupported site. The documentation in the wiki is not exactly stellar, or if it is stellar, I don't understand half of it given the limited amount of knowledge I have. So I'm looking forward to turning that on my development server in 1911 and seeing what I can have happen.
Cool.
As another unsupported user, I will be following you quite closely and hope to harvest your information.
Excellent.
George put in the chat a link to all the bugs that we're currently following. There are a number that have been fixed. There are a couple that are in discussion. So if you're interested in those, I mean, some of them, like adding logs for budgets and funds, not everybody uses that. But if you use it and you want there to be logs for it, please go ahead and comment on those. George is also working to clear out the ones that are marked as resolved, because we do have 5 right now marked as resolved, as well as a number that are pushed even to old stables, and a few pushed just to master. There's some that need sign off. There's a lot of new ones which can always use, more comments if there's something in there that you think would be good to have. Please go ahead and comment on them and try and get things moving.
One that I'd like to see people look at and talk about is 8838, which is a digest option for the hold notices. Because currently, right now, if you're in a large consortium like we are, and a delivery comes in and there's 10 things for the same patron that all have holds on them, that patron is going to get 10 emails or 10 text messages because the hold notices don't digest. And so in like 2 seconds, the patron gets like 10 texts saying your hold is here, your hold is here, your hold is here, your hold is here, because those messages don't necessarily digest.
Yeah, and that's, I know I've been I've been the recipient of like 10 or 15 text messages because they were checking in holds and they were my holds. And so I'm definitely going to go comment on that. That seems like it would be very helpful.
Yeah, if we can get some activity on that, a bunch of people saying, wouldn't it be great if we fix this? That would probably get some people's attention. It's the oldest bug that's on there that we've been following, and I don't know how long we've been following it. I don't know how long we've been talking about it. We've been talking about it for a while. I guess the first comment on it is from Mickey, who used to work in this office in 2012. So.
Okay. Heather said in the chat, not a bug and not much to say yet, but tonight Bywater's installing Elastic for them. So that's very exciting.
I just have a general question that came up here. We have, related to holds, we have the ability to do multiple holds on a bib level or on a single record. Our understanding, the way that worked, was we could put multiple item level holds on the record, but we found out that we could put that our patrons are putting multiple bib level holds on a record. That's a problem for us. Is that the way it's supposed to work? How do other libraries handle that? Do other libraries have that ability turned on to do multiple item level holds?
We have it turned on for specific patron categories. We didn't want all patrons to be able to do it, but we wanted to be able to create book club accounts so that the book club could order a bunch of things at once. And so we have the multiple holds turned on, but just for a category we have called book club.
Okay, so they can put multiple bib level holds on that then?
Yeah, the multiple holds works with bib level or item level, depending on how you're placing it.
Okay. Yeah, we were thinking it would just be for item level holds, but because we turned it on for everybody, because we've got like graphic novels, fruit baskets or whatever. We've got all the volumes on one record, and so then if they want volume 2 and 3, they can put holds on those specifically. But then we've got people putting bib level holds on, the latest movies or whatever too.
My recollection is that it's also configurable by item type. So
Yeah,
if you have a separate item type for graphic novels, you could say it's okay for graphic novels, but not for regular books.
Okay.
It seems like it's configurable on each line of the circulation rules.
Okay. All right. We can look into that. Thanks.
Barbara said in the chat that they did it for graphic novels and TV series. Okay. Oh, that's different. Trying to think. This is shaping up to be one of the fastest koha-US meetings if people don't have other bugs or issues they want to talk about. Okay.
It's in QA right now, so I don't know. It's related to the multiple holds. We were just talking about, we have an issue where if you put multiple bib level holds on the first item that comes in, when it gets checked in, we'll lock down an item physical to the second item on for the second hold on the list. So that means you get one less copy than you need. So I put the bug ticket in there. It's 18958, and it is in QA right now. It's been going for a while, but something to be aware of when you're doing multiple holds per record.
That sounds really annoying.
It is. I've told my people to put 11 holds when they need 10 copies, and that seems to work. But then they have to go in and delete the last hold, and it's frustrating.
That'd definitely be frustrating. I'm looking at my list of bugs to see if there's anything. Trying to think of some of the stuff that I've seen come across the list, because I've seen some good discussions on like the list lately. Let's see.
I've got a question.
Yeah.
So there is a record. It's Blindside by James Patterson, and nothing seems out of the ordinary with the record in our system. But when you go to put a hold on it, it produces an internal server error. One copy is available in another branch. The other copy is on order. I don't think any of our other on order items cause an internal server error. Any ideas? Anywhere to look? What tree to bark up?
Michael in the chat says that might be a missing item type.
Oh.
I know that's a problem we've had before with magazines, where if it didn't get assigned an item type when they received it.
Uh-huh.
I think there had been a bug about it for a while.
I'll take a look.
And then, yeah, he said they've had that several times this week.
Oh, great.
I have found that I think when we've had that problem, we've had trouble going in and editing it too, because of the missing item type. But that might just be because of the way our cataloger was, that like one screen maybe was trying to do it that way. I'm not sure.
Is that, when you say item type, is that the 942 that's in the actual bib record or in the 952 item record? I think when I set up Koha, I didn't include item types for anything because I didn't know that it wasn't translating well from Horizon.
I think it's the item level item type, not a record one. And I see some people nodding in their videos, some thumbs up. So that would be that.
We do about one hold every 6 months. So we have had problems. I'm just not sure what they are, and I can't really pin them down. We're still on 1705 because I'm waiting to be approved for the upgrade.
Let's see. Well, I have some like some purchase suggestion bugs because we've been using that really heavily here. Let me just go grab them real quick. That doesn't look like our copies. Here's one where only multi-branch libraries will care about this one, but if you go in and edit a purchase suggestion, it'll change the acquisition library. So like if the patron is at one of your branches, but your librarian does all the ordering, if you go in and edit the purchase suggestion, it will change the branch to your branch. Not if you do the check marks, like if you're doing it on like batch changing a bunch of them, but if you just go in to change the status or add a note in one individual purchase suggestion, it will change the acquisition library, which we just use it for statistics, you know, which branches are requesting how many items, but depending on how different libraries have their workflows, that might be a bigger problem. And that's 24370. Let's see. I also have a purchase suggestions bug 21329 about being able to add custom fields to the purchase suggestion screen. Like if you want to ask additional questions, kind of similar to like additional fields for subscriptions and baskets that are available now. So that if we wanted to add additional like library specific questions to the purchase suggestion page, we could do that. Right now you can use jQuery to change like labels or to hide fields, but being able to add, especially things where you could use like authorized values, you know, yeses and nos and etc. I think that'd be very helpful. And that's 21329.
I agree. The ability to use authorized values in that form would be really helpful.
I thought that I would report, Michael. Thank you. That worked. There was a missing item type, and it's now I can place a hold. So thank you.
Yay.
And everybody else can use that.
Awesome. Related to the last bug, we also have 23420, which would let you hide unwanted fields. Similar to the borrower unwanted fields on patron screen, would let you hide fields that your library doesn't want to use instead of using jQuery to do it. Let's see. Does anyone have any other bugs or features or exciting things to talk about?
We can talk about. In 1911, we have several developments that we were getting pushed through. One of them is patron club holds. I talked about this a little bit yesterday at the system admin group, but basically it's allowing people to join a club and then have all their holds placed on at once. So like put everybody in the James Patterson club, and whenever we add a new James Patterson book, hit a button, put all their holds on in a random order. And I've played with it a little bit. My main concern is working with it in a consortium. We want all those holds to go to the home library of the patron. Right now, it's going to it's setting the home library or the pickup location. It's setting the pickup location for all those holds to the location of the person placing the hold. So like if I have a list of holds from 10 different libraries and I'm the one putting the holds on there, they're all going to come here. And I don't want that. I want it to go to their home location. And I do have a bug outstanding on that. It is 23820. And basically what I'm aiming for is it's defaulting pickup location for club holds to the patron's home library. That's what I would hope to see it do. Otherwise, we're going to have to do like a club for each library, and then they're going to have to put the holds on, which is still going to be faster. They're not going to be putting 50 holds on every new James Patterson book. They're just going to be pushing the button once. But it'd be nice if we could just push the button once per book instead of once per library per book.
Okay. And then Michael created his first bug on Monday and put the link in the chat. And that's 24834. Display report number after running. Be helpful to have a report display its number next to the report name after running. Currently, it can be taken from the URL, but displaying it directly would be great. I know, you know, a lot of people print our holds directly from this screen too, and it's nice to be able to see, like, oh, which missing items report was that? Because some of them have fairly similar names here. That we're trying to get that cleaned up a little bit, so it'll be more helpful. So I could definitely see that being helpful. And yes, congrats on your first bug entered, Michael. Uh, Hello, Owen. Welcome. We're just doing open discussion of bugs. If there's any that you're interested in talking about.
I have one.
Okay.
We submitted this one a while ago, but then it came up from another library. And so for my libraries that are using the advanced editor, what do you think about creating an item record in the advanced editor rather than going to a separate screen to use the item fields? So being able to create an item record right within Rancor, like adding your 952 fields and adding them in. Heather, yes? Okay, good. I submitted bug 22182 and then Andrew, who's another one of our educators, he pinged me earlier this week and said, Jesse, I had another library ask about this. And I thought, how easy would it be, or how nice would it be if you could create macros for 952 strings and just add them in right there? So this is one where...
The problem with that is we might put OCLC out of business, though.
I'm going to mute myself right now.
I mean, I don't think we use Rancor here, but I think that sounds like a great idea anyway. You know, Heather is enthusiastically, yes, positive about it. Okay.
Let's see, I managed to create not exactly macros, but I bought a programmable keypad so I can just record the strokes and hit the button for a lot of things, not just Koha, which is very useful. Okay,
Oh, go ahead.
well, this isn't a bug or a feature, it's just an ongoing project, which is the library at the Eswatini College of Technology. Don't remember if this has come up at a general meeting. I think so.
I think the email came after the last general meeting.
Okay. The Education Committee got an email from Michael Walia in Eswatini, formerly known as Swaziland. And he's trying to apply for a grant from the U.S. State Department to automate his library. And he thinks Koha would be a good system to use. So we've been sort of emailing back and forth. He understands that koha-US can't provide the money or absolutely professional level advice, but we can help him get started. He sent me a shelf list of the collection yesterday. It's about 4,000 items and maybe another 500 to add to that, which is, in my opinion, nothing. I mean, I've got more books at home, and I've set up sort of a Koha library at home. I was hoping to go to computers and libraries to get a lot of information, but my hospital's just either banned or highly suggested that we not travel even for local meetings of over 50.
Like a good opportunity for Koha on a stick.
Yes. And Koha using Z3950 instead of OCLC. Heather and Micah and I are scheming about that. So anyway, it's ongoing. I think I need a financial expert, John, to come up with different estimate of what it will take. And does Bywater have any freely available information on the steps you need to take to automate? I found a good presentation from the government of Maine, but I haven't started looking elsewhere yet.
Nothing for automation.
Okay, thanks, Fred. John put a link in the chat to a bug that's stopping them from using Rancor 19419. The material type will revert to book when you're using it. And even if you've changed it, and so that's not great. So if you're using Rancor or interested in using Rancor, it might be good to get some discussion on this bug so that we can, so that people who aren't using Rancor yet because of this bug can use this bug, use this feature. Because I've heard lots of great things about how nice the macros are in the advanced editor and how they can be pretty helpful. Okay.
I will say, if you're not familiar with the advanced editor, Heather did a really good presentation on it at the cataloging SIG, and that recording's up on our YouTube page. So
Seconded. That was a really good thing to be able to attend.
Yeah, if you want to learn more, check that out because it was very informative.
Awesome. And Heather said in the chat, I use Rancor Advanced Editor despite the material type revisions, and she's mostly working with books, and use Simple Editor to reset the non-books, but that's time consuming. And Owen asked if someone could add detailed steps to reproduce the bug on the bug report. So if someone is familiar with what steps cause that, if you could add that, that would be helpful to the developers out there. John says he'll take care of it this afternoon. Awesome. It looks like there's been lots of, I just refreshed the user services doodle poll and it looks like a bunch of people responded who hadn't before. So that's good. Hopefully we'll have time for that soon.
A slight warning on that, we do have some overlap on the Zoom scheduling. But
Yeah, I
I
was
think
just looking at that.
if it falls on one of those days, we can probably use somebody else's room if we have to.
Let's see. Well, I think we've, unless anyone has any other bugs, we might be ending a little early today. Or starting the Koha-thon meeting a little early today. Does anyone have anything you'd like to talk about? Okay. Oh, yeah.
Anybody here
Is there anybody out there that
does
is being
use
impacted
Coral,
by the coronavirus?
digital asset manager for, or I guess it's more of a for electronic resources like journals and things like that is open source?
That was Coral, right? That you were asking about?
My understanding that Bywater supports it, if I understand correctly.
We do. We have about maybe 7 or 8 libraries that are using it.
It's on my list of things to explore that maybe I'll get to this summer.
I remember
We would
someone,
really benefit from a Coral implementation. We had Innovative's ERM product for years.
I remember at Portland, it looks like someone from BibLibra did a presentation on how they integrated Koha and Coral as well. Oh, and Owen put a link to Bywater's Coral page and the Coral website.
Thanks, everyone. No, nobody's had any good reviews or bad reviews on it. Is it kind of new?
No, it's not new. It's been around for a while. It has 5 modules. The modules do a good job of tracking your vendors, your subscriptions. You can use workflows to keep track of what you've purchased. There's a licensing module. There's where you can upload any of your licenses to keep track. It integrates with a calendar. There's a usage statistics module where you can bring in stats from various vendors and then compare them for your usage. And then there's a management module where you can keep like policies and procedures for ERM.
Thank you.
Okay, and when Christopher was starting to ask his question, someone else was talking as well. I couldn't tell who that was, but I think.
I believe it was Todd.
The topic was coronavirus, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, that's right. Sorry. I was just kind of curious if anybody out there was being impacted by it, if your library or your region.
We have someone getting tested. We're waiting for the test to come back in our region, not at our library. But they got tested like 2 days ago, and a parent in the Seattle area got a confirmed case earlier this week. So
yeah, we just canceled all of our classes yesterday and are switching to online courses.
My hospital is taking it seriously. They're holding weekly meetings to explain what they're doing. And they're not afraid to say, we don't know. And teaching a doctor how to say, I don't know is really hard. And they're saying it's only a matter of time before someone comes in seriously ill. And might have guessed from the background, I'm not at work today. I wasn't feeling too great yesterday. They said, stay home.
I'm looking for Robin at our system came up with she created a Google folder where she put in some documents about coronavirus and then library policies, sample policies for our members. And I'm trying to dig through my email and find that so I can share it here because it is a shared Google folder. So anybody could access it, but I can't find it. I was gone for 3 days, so naturally I've got like 180 new emails.
The National Library of Medicine has a disaster information section. Let me see if I can find the link.
well, you guys look for your links in the chat. It looks like the Element Owens kids' schools are closed for the rest of the month. The Elaine's hunkering down in Seattle. Michael put a link to some educational resources for, or to some resources for education and libraries. And Heather's telecommuting as much as possible.
We will be attending computers and libraries and TLA. I've gotten the flu many times. So. But I guess Hackfest in France was canceled.
Oh. I didn't hear about that.
So Bywater will be making a donation to koha-US in light of our traveling to there and to some coronavirus relief thing. And then we're going to be trying to get like Brendan had the idea of doing like another bug squash. Jesse, you want to speak to that more? Because I think you're more in the loop.
Yeah, we're going to try and do another global bug squashing day during the Hackfest week, so we can still try and do as much as we can, even though Hackfest was canceled. So we'll be putting out information shortly on that.
Okay. Yeah, there was a lot. Heather in the chat said, please do another bug squash with video. It was great. I know that on the, even days later in the IRC, people were talking about how great it was. And on Koha Twitter, there was lots of discussion about how nice it was and that it got people excited. And even after that, there were lots of, like that same day, a lot of the people who had been watching it, there were more people doing sign-offs on bugs or even just commenting on bugs. And it definitely overall, the that went up. So that was like really noticeable by the development community, and they very much appreciated it. So.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think with maybe travel and as you know, as our time allows, it'd be great if we could do a couple of those. Fantastic. And John, so be watching for that donation that's coming from Bywater.
I'll keep an eye open. Thank you.
Yep.
Maybe that'll make up for the Amazon Smile deficit there. Thanks, coronavirus.
Let's have a Corona in celebration.
We should have a Corona Hackfest.
All online.
Okay, I'm going to put this link in here, and this is goes to the folder that Robin created for our members about how to plan and respond to coronavirus stuff, and specifically with an eye towards libraries. So.
I know there was discussion in the Slack a little bit about like Koha specific reactions and using the calendar to kind of mitigate some of that. Are there other suggestions on what people should do if their libraries start closing down?
You know, I didn't see it talked about in the chat, but I just thought of news, you know, using the news feature if there's closures or cancellations to put that on the OPAC so people see it.
Sticking around for the Kohathon meeting. Can't see your hand.
No.
And please don't be afraid to say me. Thanks, John.
I'm not afraid, I'm terrified.
Well, I'm presenting, but I have to pretend to work on my presentation, so no.
Okay. Well, I think that wraps up this koha-US meeting. Our next meeting will be April 8th. Same time, same place. And we have plenty of, you know, we've got committee meetings, we have special interest groups that are all going to be meeting in between then and now, as well as our basic SQL in a couple weeks. So,
one more thing.
oh yeah.
Since we're a bunch of librarians, I have to recommend a book, which is The Great Influenza by John Barry, which is a well-written, fairly long story of what happened in the 1918 outbreak and the afterward of what is coming up, which he wrote at least 10 years ago, is remarkably spot on.
Okay. So I think that's it for the general meeting. Thanks everyone for coming. Stick around for the Koha-thon meeting